Ava Max arrived at the right time when she did in 2018 with Sweet But Psycho. We were missing Lady Gaga, we were missing that weird energy, that weird vibe. We wanted a pop princess at some point, and she seemed to fit the bill with her weird hair and Sweet But Psycho and her music, and some of us really thought that she was going to be a big thing and that synth pop was going to come back to the same level it did, and none of that happened. In the 2 years since Sweet But Psycho, she hasn't really made any chart progress or anything, and the album has finally dropped after many delays due to the pandemic and due to reconfiguring tracks, and now I'm gonna review to see whether or not this was really worth the whole shebang. Split into two different halves, Heaven and Hell. Screw it, you know what, I'm just gonna go into the album. I did not enjoy this album at all. I found it kind of boring, and it made me realize why Ava Max really didn't pop off as a pop star. No offense to Ava Max, but this album is more like Purgatory, not really pop heaven or pop hell. Normally I'm really nice and congenial on my channel. I try my best to be positive. I want to give positive energy, but I kind of didn't really like this album, and I'm kind of surprised I didn't find myself liking this album. It's not an utter train wreck. Like the opening track, like Heaven, is a catchy intro. It creates a good atmosphere and it blends very well into King and Queens. The vocals that she's serving are actually pretty good and it feels 2010 in the best way possible. It could have made its own song and it probably would have been a better song than an intro. Which brings me into Kings and Queens, which this song really had to grow on me. It's really cheesy, the empowerment message is there, and it is a sample of You Give Love a Bad Name. It's so obvious. I wasn't exactly a fan of the chorus, and while it's a perfect, trashy pop fodder song that I would have eaten up maybe 10 years ago, I won't deny that I probably would have liked this a long time ago. There's just such a distinct lack of joy or energy that I get from this song, and the guitar solo in the middle reminds me that maybe there's some character on this album, but oh my god, it's disappointing. I actually really like the Heaven tracks more than the Hell tracks, just because some of them actually sounded pretty unique. Like Naked actually sounds pretty unique. Bonnie McKee, who wrote a lot of Katy Perry's better songs, has a co-writing credit here, and it definitely shows, but Ava does manage to make this track her own. Tattoo is another track I actually ended up liking a lot. Charlie Puth co-wrote it and it shows. It's an earworm, very straightforward pop. Ava likes to flex her vocals here and there, and that sounds great. That works great. The bridge works great. And that probably would have been a better single, but the Hell portion of the album really put me to sleep. Take You to Hell is the first track and the opener of the second half of the record, Hell, and it sounds like a track from Undertale for some reason, and I mean that as a compliment, but I started to find myself getting bored here. Ava has a really good voice. She has the kind of voice that actually would sound great on Broadway. It feels like a musical theater voice, but I don't feel like it's a pop vocalist voice. And I'm not an expert on any of this music theory stuff, but for some reason, she doesn't seem to gel completely with the instrumentals as much as she does on her earlier tracks. With like Sweet But Psycho and maybe even parts of So Am I, we kind of got a glimpse of who she was as a person. She kind of looked like the Harley Quinn of pop. She had some sort of crazy thing going on, weird hair, some personality, but none of that personality shows on the record. I don't know who Ava Max is. I don't know her mission statement. I don't have any semblance of personality or charm or anything really unique to her. I feel like a lot of other artists could just sing these songs and make it their own in their own way, and it would still sound the same to me. And don't get me wrong, I'm actually a huge fan of cohesion. I love albums that sound like each track kind of belongs to the same sort of project. But here, cohesion works against the album. I would have liked if she worked with different producers. The entire album seems to be produced by Circuit, who so happens to be her boyfriend. Do what you want with that information. I don't think it matters. I normally hate doing the comparison sort of game thing because every artist is their own thing, but Ava sort of invites comparisons to other artists on this record. My biggest issue with Heaven and Hell is that for a debut record, she doesn't seem to establish exactly who her character is. I mean, every single pop star has some sort of gimmick, has some sort of angle. Katy Perry back in the 2010s did motivational cheesy music. Lady Gaga was the eclectic girl, like she was creating weird but also accessible and groundbreaking stuff. It's very obvious that she kind of borrows from those artists and she wants to be her own thing, but she doesn't really take the moment to give us who exactly Ava Max is, what is her mission. So Mai seems to imply that she wants to be the weird girl that everyone can relate to and find community with, and that works, but then she throws it away to be a heartbreak girl or the psycho girl. What exactly is Ava Max? Who is she? What is her mission statement? Believe me, it is not enough to be a competent singer, songwriter, producer, whatever. You need to have some sort of X factor. It's why we stan certain artists and we really believe in them. Not having a specific angle makes you vulnerable to flying off the map, which she did after Sweet But Psycho. Like, one of her tracks, Torn, which was an actual single, samples ABBA's Gimme Gimme, and it works for that one track, but it doesn't seem to give us a semblance of who exactly she is. For a lot of the songs, she seems to come from a place of hurt or rejection or maybe some sort of negative emotion, but I rarely seem to feel joy on this record. There's no tracks about really being happy. And the tracks about being happy have something to do with vindictiveness. Like the song Who's Laughing Now, it's a natural successor for Sweet But Psycho, and it works in that way, and the music video is actually fun to watch, but the subject matter about being gaslit is powerful, but she comes off as more petty than powerful in that track. There's a track called Rumors where she's addressing people talking behind her back or something, and I'm like, no one's talking about you, honey. No one's talking about you, so that track doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel earned. I'm not going to say that this record was a complete train wreck. There's one song that really characterizes to me what kind of her potential could be. It's called Born to the Night. I really love the chorus here and the vibes. It's synthy, it works. The pre-chorus actually goes down so smooth that the chorus works again with the strings. The track actually works, and the vocoders at the end, I am a sucker for a good vocoder, don't get me wrong, but this record is not it. At its worst, it's very derivative. At its best, it showcases what could be if she actually kind of goes for that energy. All in all, I would give this about a 5.5 out of 10, which is one of the lowest ratings I've given on my channel. I don't know, I just really don't see what avatars see in her. Avatars being her fandom name. I kind of want to see what other people thought of this album, if people had similar thoughts. If you loved it, you know, I'm happy that you loved it, but I don't know, personally speaking myself, this album was just not it. Thanks again for tuning into the video. I want to give another shout out to my members. Thank you so much. The XEX World video is coming up soon. I'm still editing the Stars Born video. I am working on the Joanne video as I speak. There's a lot of videos that are coming, so if you kind of like this content or you liked another video that I made, definitely subscribe, like, comment what your favorite track was below if you had a favorite track, or defend the album if you want. I can't wait to see what your opinions are. You can follow me at my socials, which are listed right here, and I stream on Twitch every Friday and Saturday to talk about pop, watch music videos, and just hang out with you guys. I'll see you guys again soon.